Hi, I'm Monica from Cardsmith, and we're going to talk about concept mapping today. What is a concept map? Who uses it? What they use it for? And then I want to get into how concept mapping can be used for solving problems and making better decisions. And we'll even show an example of how the Cardsmith team used a concept mapping process to make a better decision. And along the way, I'm going to share with you what I think is the most important or the key concept to get from the concept of concept mapping. This is a very meta topic. Um, so let's just jump right in. All right. So, what is concept mapping? Well, it's a specific visual mapping tool that is designed to structure information and to deeply understand that information in order to turn it into knowledge. So, if you think about a textbook, if I were to read a textbook from start to finish, it's a very linear way of bringing information in. That might be good enough to pass the test, but it's not going to give me a real deep assimilated knowledge of that topic. Concept mapping, though, is a tool that I can use if I were to make a concept map of that book, and I would start to see relationships between different areas of the book. I might go research something on the internet and bring that into my map. Now, perhaps I'm able to teach this topic myself because I've really created that knowledge in myself and I'm doing that by creating visual connections between the concepts. So we'll get into that a little bit more and we'll talk about the Cardsmith example. So let's get going. So let's take a look at what a concept map is and how you would build one. The structure is very simple. There are three things. You've got nodes, and you've got linking lines, and you've got linking words. And if we read this particular concept map, which is very much sticking with our theme that this is a very meta topic here, I've built a concept map about concept mapping. So if we read this, we see that a concept map is a graph, and that graph has nodes. It also has linking lines. Those linking lines relate pairs of nodes. Now, nodes represent concepts. Linking lines sometimes have linking words that describe the relationship between those pairs of nodes. Now, in Cardsmith, this works really, really easily. You can create these maps very quickly. You can move these cards around. Um, a card is used for our node. The links or connectors are used to form the linking lines, and you can edit the labels of those links or connectors to fill in your linking words. Now, not every linking line has to have linking words. If you already understand the relationship, you don't need to put those in, and we'll see some more of that as we further our example here. As I continued researching concept mapping, I wanted to very quickly understand who uses them and what they use them for. After all, what good is a tool if you don't have a purpose? So I expanded this very simple concept map and I moved those cards over to the left that I had from before, and I put down a new node with the concept of who uses concept maps. And then what I discovered was teachers and writers are using them to structure knowledge in order to um, do a book outline, prepare a lecture or a course. Researchers and students are using them to develop deep knowledge of a topic, as we discussed in our introduction. And then what was most exciting to me was learning about how consultants, entrepreneurs, designers, innovators are using concept mapping as a tool to help teams solve challenging problems. And how are they doing this? They're documenting problem components, constraints, and opportunities, and then they're looking at the relationships between all of those things. And they do that in order to discover new solutions and make better decisions. Now, they're not doing this alone. A good consultant or a good leader will want to develop as full of a picture as possible. So they're going to go out and get different perspectives from team members, from different stakeholders, and they'll really build out all of these things in order to really structure the problem, understand the problem. Oftentimes, there's more than one problem to select the problem and also understand that in the context of different opportunities and constraints in order to solve a problem in the best way. So if you get to the end of this video and you only remember one thing about concept mapping, it's this: the relationships is really the key. So the relationships, as demonstrated by the linking lines, is the one key to the power of concept mapping, in particular with solving problems, in my view. So this is the key. When problems are complex and they go on for a while, I often notice teams will get into what I like to call the project swirl. So we'll discuss a problem, or maybe it's a symptom of a problem, we're not really sure, and people will jump in really quickly to solve that problem, as humans do. But then it becomes clear later on in this discussing the solution that there's another problem or maybe another symptom, and we're not really clear on what the whole problem situation is. And this can cause problem solving to go on for weeks, if not months. And it can be very frustrating for the team because you think you're almost there and then you're not there, and we have to backtrack. And so you think you're going fast, but you're really not going fast. And what concept mapping does is allows you to slow down and really understand the problem or the multiple symptoms of a problem in a much more logical way so that you can understand the situation from a variety of perspectives. And if you listen carefully during Project Swirl, you can document the problems, the symptoms, the solution ideas, the proposed strategies, all of these things that you'll start to hear. You can put those down as cards in Cardsmith or nodes on your concept map, and you can start to then understand the relationships between those things. Let's talk a little bit about how I use this with my Cardsmith team recently. Now, I'm not an expert in concept mapping, but I've learned the tool and we used it in a real world situation. And I think it's one of those things that you will get better, that we will get better at using as we use it. I'm not saying we came to a perfect answer or we structured the problem perfectly. I don't think that's the key here. I think concept mapping, though, was a useful tool to help us understand the full situation, and we learned a lot from it. We made a good decision, we moved on, and we went slow in order to go what I think will be faster. So the last time that I encountered Project Swirl or Problem Swirl was when I was working with our team to decide what feature we would do next in Cardsmith. Now we have a constrained team and we can do a limited number of features. We also have, as most startups do, a variety of problems. And we've discussed a variety of approaches to solving those wide variety of problems. So there's a lot going on here, and it's not important that you be able to read this map. This is the messy brainstorming work that we did, and using the concept mapping key of creating relationships between things, we were able to map out and really clarify for ourselves what are all of the problems that we were discussing, and what are all of the approaches or strategies that we had discussed, and how do those relate to all of the opportunities or potential features that we could do. So the last map that I showed you was the actual brainstorm that we did with our Cardsmith team to answer the question, what is the next feature we should add? We then created this more simplified version of that map in order to document the thinking and to more clearly demonstrate how the solutions that we chose are going to support the strategies that we think are going to address the problem that was chosen. So you can see here on the left, we've decided to we looked at all the problems and opportunities, and there are a whole bunch of things we decided not to address right now. It's very, very difficult with a small team to solve many problems at one time. But there were two problems that are going to remain on this map, and that is one that we want to understand who and why people are using Cardsmith in order to narrow our marketing focus, in order to grow revenue. We also want to improve our active user metric because we think it's too low, and we decided this was a top problem and that needs to improve in order to grow revenue. So these things are related and support each other. This may or may not be perfect concept mapping structure, but it's a bit of a process map, strategy map, concept map that I think will work for the team to keep us focused and keep us from going back into that swirl state where we're debating or questioning our prior thinking. The next thing that I did was I removed the connectors between all of the different strategies and this title card here, strategies discussed, because they were just going to get in the way. And then I linked the features to the particular strategy that I thought would be supported if we did that feature. So you can see here we've got focus on low-hanging fruit, which was a strategy, and that's directly related to us having a constrained team. So if we can do things that take less effort, that's a good thing. We want to improve our onboarding of new users. That's directly related to the problem that we saw as the number one problem. And we also want to focus on our best users, which are facilitators or consultants doing facilitated sessions with remote teams. So these are the things that we did, and we as a group decided which of the features would support which particular strategy, and then it became clear through this map that there were a couple of low-hanging fruit ideas that were also going to help us meet our other strategies, which would lead to, improved capabilities in marketing, for example, or improved onboarding capabilities for new users. So if I highlight these particular items, we just selected number one, and also related to that was number two. If I highlight those connectors, you can see I'm touching upon creating features that support marketing, creating features for facilitators, improving onboarding of new users, and focusing on low-hanging fruit, all with these two related features. And I've highlighted those in red so we can come back to this and remember what we decided and why we decided it. Because what we don't want to do is to question this decision. We've made the decision, let's go forward. We're doing something that's relatively quick. We can come back to this map when it's time to select the next feature and improve on our thinking and improve on our problem solving capabilities as a team. And I think that's what this is all about. It's not about creating the perfect concept map. It's not necessarily about creating something that I can go and teach, or it's not really about developing a deep set of knowledge on a particular topic in an academic way, but it is about learning how to be more clear about our situation, working with a team, and collaborating around solving problems and making better decisions. If you'd like to learn more about concept mapping or other topics that we talk about here on the Cardsmith channel, please subscribe. And if you like this video, please like it. Also, if you have comments or questions, please leave us a comment. I would love to know what other people are using concept mapping for, especially in the problem solving space. So yeah, leave us a comment, like us, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video.